Okay, mister.
Okay, so do you remember where we were left? Uh,
I remember well
okay, let's see otherwise.
on we end passive models. We finish passive models.
Passive models? Okay, let's see. Okay, we finished passive models, right?
Yes, mister.
Okay, so let's do this. Can you please read?
Okay. Mm, Listening. Predict topics of conversation. Listen for specific information about events in people's lives. Listen for main ideas about people's relationships. Listen to the key ideas in short testimonial speeches. Speaking, talking about intentions, talking about plans, wishing someone luck, asking for future updates. Grammar, adjective clauses, review and expansion, auxiliary verbs for emphasis, review phrasal verbs, pronunciation, stressing phrasal verbs, vowels followed by R, reading and vocabulary, getting the meaning from context, understanding main ideas and details. Writing, pre-writing technique, take notes. Task, write a summary of reviews of a classic film. Skill, summarize main ideas.
Okay, any questions regarding vocabulary or any other type of question?
And no, mister.
Okay. Mr. Number 2, can you please read?
Video listening. Watch the video and answer questions about the information and ideas in it. Learn more about body language and other cultural aspects of the video. Vocabulary. Learn the meanings and usage of these phrases with break. Break a habit, break a law, break a promise, break a record, break a story, break a sweat, break new ground, break somebody's heart, break the ice, break the news to somebody. Speaking, learn expressions you can use to talk about intentions. I've been meaning to call you. Talk about plans. What are you planning to do? Wish someone luck. I'm sure everything will work out. Ask for future updates. Keep me posted. Grammar. Learn to express yourself using adjective clauses, review and expansions. Is Talia Santos the reporter who broke the story? Auxiliary verbs for emphasis. It does seem like yesterday. Review of phrasal verbs. Things have worked out for you, Nick. Task listening. Listen to the speeches given at the party for Talia. Match the quotes with the correct person. Pronunciation. Practice your pronunciation of stress in phrasal verbs. Amy called me up. I just found out the news. Vowels followed by R. Work, perfect, care, here. Reading. Read an article about endings in movies. On the web, research classic films. Summarize reviews of a classic film.
Okay, any questions regarding vocabulary, maybe?
No, mister. It's all clear.
Okay, great. Let's move on. Can you please read?
Nick is at the health club. He's talking with Patty about recent events in his life. Look at the picture. Nick is looking at the TV. Predict. Who do you think is on television now? Talia, Jackie, Dean, Nick. Mm, Jackie.
Okay, let's see.
Glitter, the perfect toothpaste with a perfect smile. Remember, all that glitters is not gold.
Patty, could you turn the volume down a little?
Oh, sure, Nick. Seems like yesterday when you were asking me to turn up the volume.
Huh?
You remember the day when you recognized Jackie Bishop on TV?
Oh, right, that. In a way, it does seem like yesterday, but a lot has happened since then.
Oh, I know. Like now you can see Jackie Bishop on TV all the time.
Yup, in all these silly commercials. Well, I guess things really worked out for her.
Seems so. And they worked out okay for you too, right? I mean, you did score the winning goal in the qualifying match.
Yes, but unfortunately we didn't make it to finals.
No, but there's always next time.
Yep, there's always next time.
By the way, you know who else I see on TV all the time? That reporter who broke the story. What's her name again? Talia something?
Talia Santos. Yeah, I heard she's been offered a job at a different news show.
You don't look very happy about it.
Well, no, now that you mention it. We've both been so busy and I haven't had a chance to see her much lately. Now it looks like she's going to be moving.
Well, Nick, if that's the case, it sounds like you need to speak to her. You don't have the luxury of waiting for the right time anymore.
You're right, Patty. It's now or never. I'll see you later.
Bye, Nick. Hey, let me know how things turn out.
Okay, yes, it was Jackie. Okay, let's continue here. Can you please read?
Nick has heard that Talia is going to move away to take a new job. He goes to the Newsline office to wish her luck. Look at the picture. Nick is talking with Talia. Predict, what do you think he is talking about? The people they know, her new job, their careers, his feelings for her, a recent soccer match. Her new job.
Okay, great. Let's see.
Hey.
Nick, hi. I've been meaning to call you.
Oh, well, Amy emailed me. She told me the news. She said she's moved up to your job as a researcher.
That's right. Isn't it great?
Yeah. Yeah, but she also told me the reason she's been promoted. So when are you moving?
Not until next week.
Oh? Is there somewhere we can talk for a few minutes?
Sure. Here, come in here.
So, Amy told me you got an offer from Newsbeat. Where are they? Atlanta?
No, Chicago.
Right, Chicago. Anyway, she said they wanted you to start right away.
Yes, but Nick,
Look, Talia, I have to tell you how I feel.
Okay. Go ahead. I'm listening.
I know I haven't been in touch, but it's only because I didn't want to get in the way. I know how important your career is to you.
What are you talking about, Nick?
What I'm trying to say is, I like you. And I want to spend more time with you. And it might be crazy to say this, but I don't want you to move.
Good. Because this is where I'm moving.
Huh?
This is my new office. I turned Newsbeat down. Tony said he'd match their offer.
So in other words, I just made a fool of myself.
No. As usual, you were just being honest. That's one of the qualities I like most about you.
So you think we're ready for a fresh start?
A fresh start. Yes, I like that idea.
How about dinner tonight?
Sure. That would be wonderful.
Where would you like to go?
Anywhere. Except Valentino's.
Okay, so let's review this. Okay, so I don't remember what you said here. What did you say here?
Said her new job,
And what he's talking about?
about his feelings for her.
Yes, that's right. Okay, so let's continue here.
Hi, it's Emily. We're almost at the end of the course. This is a time when you can look back and feel good about how much you've learned. It's also a good time to review. The grammar point that we're going to review today is adjective clauses. Did you recognize the adjective clauses that I just used?
Okay, can you please read?
Adjective clauses, also called relative clauses, often begins with a relative pronoun. The relative pronoun can be the subject or object of the adjective clause. Is Talia Santos the reporter who broke the story? In this example, the relative pronoun who is the subject of the adjective clause. Yes, she is the one that I work with. In this example, the relative pronoun that is the object of the adjective clause.
Great, continue, please.
We can use the relative pronouns who or that for a person. Talia is the person who did the most to help me. Talia is the person that did the most to help me. We sometimes use whom for a person when the relative pronoun is the object of the clause. Whom is very formal. This year, the most valuable player award goes to an athlete whom we all admire. We can use the relative pronouns that or which for a thing. I turned down the job offer that I got at Newsbeat, or I turned down the job offer which I got at Newsbeat. It's more common than which in informal conversation.
Okay, 4 and 5.
We use where in adjective clauses that describe a place. Is there some place where we can go for a few minutes? The adjective clause where we can go for a few minutes describes some place. We use then or that in adjective clauses that describe a time. It seems like it was just yesterday when you asked me to turn up the volume. Or it seems like it was just yesterday that you asked me to turn up the volume. The adjective clause when you asked me to turn up the volume, or that you asked me to turn up the volume describes yesterday.
Okay, let's do 6.
In adjective clauses, we often leave out the object relative pronoun. We also leave out when or that in adjective clauses that describe a time. This is very common in informal conversation and writing. There's something that I need to discuss with you. It's hard to find a time when we can talk. When we can leave out where. That's the juice bar where Nick Crawford liked to go. We do not say, that's the juice bar Nick Crawford liked to go.
Great. Okay, so here we're gonna begin, please, with the adjective clause. Well, first of all, the adjective clause begins with a relative pronoun. Okay, like I'm gonna try to combine some of these sentences, like, I don't know. How would you combine these two? into one sentence.
That is the person
Okay.
that wrote a novel.
Okay, great. How else would you combine this?
That is the person who wrote a novel.
Great. Okay, so for people, you have who or that. That is less formal than who. So for the TOEFL, you should use who. Okay,
Okay, mister. But
so yes.
in an example, if there are two questions or 2 points or where I need to put relative clause, to use relative clause,
Mhm.
it is wrong if I use that in one of them.
No, it's not wrong, but it's like if it's pretty informal.
Okay, mister.
So
Thank
I
you.
wouldn't recommend it. It wouldn't be wrong, but it's very informal. Okay, it's something that somebody who knows very little English would say, right? So if you're an advanced level, you you don't use that, especially for people. On things you can use that, but in people, I would use who. Okay, so that's much better. Okay, so here,
Mister.
what's the relative pronoun here in the first one?
It's that.
In the first one, in this one.
Oh, who?
Great. And in the other one?
That.
Okay, so what's the adjective clause in the first one?
Who wrote a novel?
Great. And in the second one?
That wrote a novel.
Great job. Okay. So let's do something else. Let's do this. How would you join these two sentences?
All of us think that the smartest in the room is Nick, who I talked.
Like this?
I think yes, mister.
Okay. You need to you need to put two who I talked to. Okay, but something that is much better, this actually you need to put whom. Okay, why? Because here Nick is an object.
Oh, okay, I remember now.
Remember, right?
Yes, mister.
So this is an object. Okay, so let's do another one. Let's do this one. Okay, how would you join these two together?
All of us think that the smartest in the room is Nick, who is from Indonesia.
Great, who's from Indonesia. Great, so if it's like an object, you need to use whom. Wouldn't be like so wrong if you used who, but it's much better, especially for the TOEFL, if you use whom. Okay?
Okay, mister.
So, relative pronoun can be the subject or the object as of the relative clause. So here, in this adjective clause, who wrote a novel, what is the the relative pronoun is who. What is who? Is the subject or the object here?
What, mister?
So the word who in this adjective clause, who wrote a novel, is that the subject or is that the object?
It's the
This.
subject.
Great. Here, whom I talk to, whom is whom the subject or the object?
It's the object.
Great. And who is from Indonesia? Who is the subject or the object?
The subject.
Great. Okay, as we said, we can use who or that for people and whom for people when the relative pronoun is the object of the clause. Like here, this year, the most valuable player award goes to an athlete whom we all admire. Right? So if you really look at the sentence before you join them, you would say like, let's see here. So the two sentences that would precede this sentence would be like this. Okay, so we admire him. So this is the object. That's why here you use a whom. Okay?
Okay.
That or which is for things, and also where describes places, when or that describe time. Okay, let's do some examples of where. How would you join these two?
I like to go to the cafeteria
Great.
where they serve food.
Great. So where is described to really explain a place. Also, we can use when to describe a time. Mm, Okay, how would you join these two?
Everybody was scared in 2020 when
Okay.
the pandemic started.
Okay. Any questions with 4 and 5?
No, mister.
Okay, great.
Just mister one.
Yes.
In the case of when, we can use that, but But in the case
Yes,
of water,
yes, of course. Yes, yes, we can use that. And everybody was scared in 2020. Uh, but in some cases, not in all.
what's the conditional
Mm,
or something like that?
mm, everybody was scared in 2020 that the pandemic started. Uh, I guess that in this case, well, I don't really know what's the condition there, to be honest. But in this case, if you said like in the example, it seems like yesterday, like it was just yesterday that you asked me to turn up the volume. Uh, I guess that you could use here that everybody was scared in 2020 that the pandemic started. Yes, I think that you can use that there. I think you can,
Okay, mister. But
but
in
it's
the case of where, it's not an option to use that.
uh no, it's not.
Okay, mister.
It's not an option. Okay, any other question?
No, mister.
Okay, let's continue here. Uh, in some cases, we can leave out the object. Uh, but this is very informal. Okay, uh, like if I said, I like Roberto, whom we all admire. In this case, whom is this a subject or the object, the relative pronoun whom?
What?
Is it a subject or an object?
Okay, it's an object.
It's an object. Okay, so here we can erase this. I like Roberto, we all admire. Yes, we could do that. Uh, even though it sounds weird, but you can do that informally, not in the TOEFL, of course. Uh, or you could say, I don't know. I think that the best player of the team is Ramiro, whom I called yesterday. In this case, the same. You could theoretically erase this. Ramiro, I called yesterday. Okay, but I wouldn't recommend this in the TOEFL. Okay, I wouldn't recommend that. And also, when you leave out the when or that, here you could say like everybody was scared in 2020, the pandemic started. Or I like to, yes, that's an option. Okay, but of course, that's something that uh, that wouldn't be like so formal. So I wouldn't recommend that. Okay.
Okay, mister.
Any questions regarding number 6?
No, mister.
Okay. Let's continue here. Auxiliary verbs for emphasis.
Hello, how are you? The grammar point we're going to study now is using the auxiliary verb for emphasis. I do think you'll find it very useful. Let's begin.
Okay, can you please read?
We often use auxiliary verbs for emphasis to give something special importance. Auxiliary verbs include the verbs do, be, and have, and modals like can, could, should, and will. A lot of people didn't believe Nick, but he was telling the truth. If the sentence already has an auxiliary verb, we emphasize it by putting more stress on it when we speak. When we put stress on a word, we make it longer and stronger. Hey Nick, you should see this commercial. I have seen it. Did you know that Talia was offered a job in Chicago? No, I didn't know that.
Okay, let's read number 3 and 4.
If the sentence does not have an auxiliary verb, we use the auxiliary do, does, or did for emphasis. Notice that the base form of the verb always follows do, does, or did. Too bad you don't like soccer. I like soccer. It seems like just yesterday. It seems like yesterday. I guess things work out for Jackie. And for you too. You scored the winning goal. If the main verb in the sentence is be, we can emphasize it. In the same way, Nick was innocent.
Okay, number 5.
We emphasize things for many different reasons. One reason is to agree with something someone has said. It seems like it was just yesterday when you asked me to turn up the volume. Yeah, in a way it does seem like just yesterday. We also use emphasis when we disagree with something. It's too bad that Talia is moving to Chicago. She isn't moving to Chicago. She's staying at Newsline.
Okay, so here we use some auxiliary verbs to give some special importance, like do, be, and have, models like can, could, and should. So this is like an emphasis in terms of the pronunciation. A lot of people didn't believe Nick, but he was telling the truth. Okay, so that's very important. Like, we use that for emphasis, okay? In sentences that already have an auxiliary verb, we emphasize it by putting more stress on it when we speak. When we put the stress on a word, we make it longer and stronger, like here. You should see this commercial. I have seen it. Did you know that Talia was offered a job in Chicago? No, I didn't know that. So that's the meaning of stress, actually, to talk, to pronounce it stronger and longer. Okay? Then, any questions with 1 or 2 maybe?
No, mister.
Okay, so with sentences that do not have an auxiliary verb, we use do, does, or did for emphasis. Like this, too bad you don't like soccer. And here you could answer, like we do, you can really give an emphasis in writing. I do like soccer. Okay, or here instead, it seems like yesterday, you could say it does seem like yesterday. And here, and for you too. You did score the winning goal.
Mister, I am confused with the first example.
Uh, like the first, I like soccer.
Yes,
Okay, so do is because it's an auxiliary, right? So you could really insert do in all the verbs, like all the normal verbs. Like I do like soccer. You could say that in order to give emphasis. It's the
okay,
same.
but to, how can I say agregar?
To add.
Okay. To add emphasis, I need to use do, does, or did.
Yes, exactly. Like here, I do like soccer. You are trying like instead of saying I like soccer, you're emphasizing that you like soccer. I do like soccer. Or it seems like yesterday. So here you take the verb like seems and you basically uh use does and seem, the base form of the verb.
Okay.
And for past, like I scored or you scored, you did score. So basically the past is here and here you have this the base form of the verb.
Okay, Mister. Thank you.
Okay, is that clear?
It's clear, Mister.
Okay, great. So if the main verb in the sentence is be, we can emphasize it in the same way. Nick was innocent. So here the emphasis that we can give is only in the pronunciation. We can always say Nick was innocent. So the emphasis comes in the pronunciation. And finally, we emphasize things for different reasons. One is to agree. Like here, it seems like it was just yesterday when you asked me to turn up the volume. Yeah, in a way, it does seem here. There, it's emphasizing, right? It does seem like yesterday. We can also use emphasis when we disagree with something. It's too bad that Talia isn't moving to Chicago. She isn't moving to Chicago. She's staying in Newsline. So the emphasis would come in terms of verbally, like you put more stress in that word. I don't know if it's clear, number 5.
It's clear, Mister.
Okay, let's finally do this review of phrasal verbs.
Hi. I'm so happy everything has worked out so well. Talia's and Amy's hard work has paid off. Both of them have new jobs. And Nick may not have won the championship, but it seems that he's won Talia over. Phrasal verbs like work out, pay off, and win over are so important in English. Let's review them.
Okay, let's read. Let's read, please.
Phrasal verbs are verbs that have two parts. A verb plus a participle. Turn out is a phrasal verb. Turn is the verb. Out is the participle. The participle looks just like a preposition, but it is actually one part of this two-part verb. The participle often changes the meaning of the verb. Let me know how things turn out. In the example, turn out means have a particular result. As you can see, the verb turn plus the participle out has a completely different meaning from the verb turn by itself.
Okay, continue, please.
Some phrasal verbs are inseparable.
Separable, yes.
Okay, inseparable. This means that the two parts, verb and participle, always stay together. When an inseparable phrasal verb has an object, the object always comes after the two parts of the verb. What do you think of the commercial? What do I think of it? I think it's ridiculous. In the conversation, the noun, the commercial, and the pronoun it are objects of the verb think of. Both noun and pronoun objects always come after an inseparable phrasal verbs. We do not say, "What do I think it of?"
Okay, 3 and 4.
Some phrasal verbs are used with certain prepositions when they have an object. We sometimes call these combinations three-part verbs. Three-part verbs are inseparable. Things have worked out for you, Nick. The phrasal verb work out means stop being a problem. We use it with the preposition for when there is an object. We do not use the preposition when there is no object. Yes, they have worked out. Many phrasal verbs are separable. This means that the noun object can come either after or between the two parts of the verb. I turned down the job. I turned the job down.
Okay, 5 and 6.
When the object of a separable phrasal verb is a pronoun, a word like him, her, or it must just go between the verb and the particle. Why did you turn down the job? I turned down the job because I didn't want to move. We do not say I turned down it. Remember, we use phrasal verbs a lot, especially in conversation. Phrasal verbs are often more common than their definitions. For example, I ran into my cousin yesterday is more common than I met my cousin by accident yesterday.
Great. So, here we have phrasal verbs that have two parts, like turn out. You know the meaning of turn out?
No, mister.
Turn out is like it resulted, or it turned out to be fine. That means to have a particular result. Or we could say he turned out to be honest. That means that, well, at the end he was honest. It turned out that he was honest, right? So
Okay.
turn out means like to have a particular result. Uh, let me think of.
It's like a change.
No, it's like if I said like I don't know, if I say like if I say it turned out that she was the friend of my sister, that means that it resulted, or
Okay, now I get it.
now you get it?
Yes, mister.
Okay, great. Yes. Okay, so this is a phrasal verb that has two parts. It has turn, that is like the verb, and out, that is the particle. And this changes the meaning of the verb because turn is very different, right? What's the meaning of turn? Do you know that?
Not exactly.
Like to turn is to you can turn the wheel, right? Or you can turn around.
I
It's like,
know the meanings of turn right or turn it on, turn it off.
oh yes, those are phrasal verbs as well. Turn it
Okay.
on, turn it up. Yes, they have different meanings. That's what I'm saying. Like turn up is very different than turn off, right?
Yes.
Okay, so turn out means like to result. It turned out that she was a friend of my sister. I didn't know that, but it turned out that way. Okay, so this has two parts. Some phrasal verbs are inseparable. This means that they must stay together. Like think of. You know the meaning of think of?
Think of,
Yes.
like, what is your opinion?
Yes. So that's also a phrasal verb. Think of. And you cannot say like, what do you think it of? You know, you can't say that, right? Because it sounds weird because it's inseparable. You can't separate that.
Okay.
Okay, so then you have, I don't know if you have any questions with one or two, maybe.
No, miss.
Okay, number three is that you have some phrasal verbs that are used with certain prepositions when they have an object. We sometimes call this combination three-part verbs. Three-part verbs are inseparable. Things have worked out for you. Work out, you know the meaning of workout?
Like make an effort for something.
Workout basically means mm, like to like
The things now are are
yes. The things now are well. Things have worked out. I could say that. That means that things have worked out. Like they work right now. They function. I'm happy about it.
okay, miss.
When you say things have worked out for you, Nick, that means that you were successful, Nick. Things have worked out for you. Okay, so that means that they stop being a problem. And we could also use it with the preposition for. Like I could say, uh, things worked out. I could say this, or I could say things worked out for me or for you. That means that things have functioned. I'm happy about it. I am successful. And
Okay.
there's some phrasal verbs that are separable, like turn down. You know the meaning of turn down?
Like quit.
No, it's like reject.
Oh, okay.
Turn down the job, that means I rejected the job. I turned
I
down.
reject the proposal.
That's right. But this turn down, you can use it like I turned the job down. So this is separable. That means that you can use turn down like together, like here, or you can use them separated. I turned the job down. Or you could say I turned down his proposal. Or you could also say I turned his proposal down. Okay, so in this case, we turn down, things work separately as well. I don't know if you've got any questions with 3 and 4, maybe?
Yes, mister, I don't get it. Oh, number 3, because it says that it's a three-part verbs, but work out it's in two parts, or what is the real meaning of three parts verbs?
There's something that they're like called. Like it's called a three-part verb. That doesn't mean that there are like 3 parts.
It's just a name.
Yes.
Okay, mister. Thank
It doesn't make sense, right?
you. Yes.
But I don't know why they call it like that. I don't know that either. Doesn't make sense for me either. It's a two-part verb, right? but that's the way they're called. So don't worry about it. Okay, so another question maybe?
No, mister.
Okay. I think that it's because these things have worked out for. So the preposition for would be the third part. Worked out for. But for is not always used. Okay, so
Yes.
that's why they're called three-part verbs, because it has worked out and for. Some cases, in some cases you don't need for. Okay,
Oh,
that's why they're called three parts. They have 1, 2, and 3 parts.
thank you, mister.
Okay, great. And finally, when the object of a phrasal verb is a pronoun, it must go between the verb and particle. Like, why did you turn down the job? I turned down the job because I didn't want to move. You can't say I turned down it. So you could say like I turned the job down, but you can't say I turned, and you can also say I turn it down. That's fine, but you can say I turn down it. Okay, so this is something that you can say. When you have like a pronoun here, like it, uh, you can use it like that. You need to use it between the verb and the particle. Like here, I turn it down. That's fine. But you can't say I turned down it.
Okay, mister.
Okay, and finally, phrasal verbs. We use them a lot. Uh, you know the meaning I ran into?
Just like I met him at accident.
By accident, right?
By accident. Yes.
Great, that's right. Okay, so let's finish here. Any other question, maybe?
No, mister.
Okay, so on Monday, we're gonna have the test. And as I told you, we're gonna have C3, C4. And on Wednesday, we're gonna have the
Words test.
words test and also the other test, okay? The final one.
Okay, the
So
module C.
the module, yes. So we're gonna have on Monday the C3 and C4, and on Wednesday the module test and the TOEFL word. So we're gonna see on Wednesday. Okay, we're gonna see Wednesday, and I'm gonna for that class you need to turn your camera on. Okay, so that's the only one that you must turn the camera on. Okay, so that